Literature is a luxury, and at the same time, fiction is a necessity. That is the words of our English writer G.K. Chesterton regarding the topic of today's speech, that is literature. But before I begin, let me introduce myself. My name is Arif bin Adnan from Class 3B, and today I'm going to give you all a topic based on our English course, that is English through literature. Without further ado, let me begin. Literature, to define it, means an art. Why art? Because the poets, the writers, the playwrights work to express their emotions, their imaginative, their creativity throughout writing materials, plays, and poems, and so on. And it had been brought from the Renaissance all the way to our modern times, and it's now part of our syllabus, which unfortunately not many students came to appreciate the importance of the literature. In today's speech, I'm going to give you all what are the points that makes literature as important as the other courses in the English language. That is, one, it teaches us new aspects of the English language. Two, it makes us more expressive in our English speaking. And three, it makes our entire experience of the English language more interesting. And I have given all you these 3 points. Now it's time for me to elaborate on each and one of them. Okay, the first point is that it teaches us new aspects of the English language. Let me give you a brief detail of how our students do today. Today we are only being taught about how to read, to write, to understand the scripts and articles given. And now, since it became more dull, people have only been learning it just to pass their examinations. However, with the arrival of English literature, we are also need to learn new aspects of the English language. That means we need to learn the figurative language such as similes, metaphors, personifications, learning analysis, the meaning behind each story and each poem, give us learning how to do summaries, and so on. That is quite important in our life as well, not as we are also needed to find and analyze the words behind what people say, just so that you can understand the hidden message within the sentences. Now I have given 1 point about it. Now it's time to go to the second point of this speech. That is making us more expressive in our English speaking. Okay. Now, let me show you what I mean. Throughout our time, we are only learn how to speak and read and also understand. But however, we do not have any means to practice it. Well, it is important to practice English because we are not going out there to just to understand. We need to learn how to speak it to other people, especially if we're going to a foreign country. Especially since right now, as you know, English is the international language of all the entire world. That is when literature comes in. Why? Because there are times that we are forced to do assignments in the world of plays, especially involving drama. Let me give you an example. When there are some plays such as Romeo and Juliet, Hamlet, and the others written by William Shakespeare, it might be a bit embarrassing to do all of this in a dress, speaking the words from a script. However, what we mostly ignore is that it gives us the courage to speak English and the motivation to learn even more. Confidence is because we are now know how to speak it fluently without any interruptions or errors, and at the same time we will be motivated to learn since you is a really interesting way to learn our English language. And that at the same time, it gave us even more confidence, since I spoke earlier, to learn even better. Okay, what most people do not know that literature actually helps in four aspects: listening, speaking, reading, and writing. That is what literature actually helps improve besides the normal syllabus. And besides that, we are also being able to learn the pronunciation and new grammatical ways to write our essays. I have given my second point. Now, without further ado, we had to move on to the final point. That is to make for most of us, making English language overall more interesting. As I said before, that right now we our English language lessons are considered dull, boring, and the like. Especially if we have been given an article, all we had to do is read facts and blah 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 everything. In with literature, imagine we replacing the articles we had to summarize to a short story. They will be hooked because not only is more interesting and it's easier to understand, it can be also be a way to help students in increasing their vocabulary and be more interested in the English language. And not to mention in poetry as well, just trying to find the meaning behind the lines, the stanzas, and all the figurative languages, just shows that we are interested in doing it and give us a more enjoyable experience in learning our language. Not to mention the place where after, as I have mentioned before, when just performing together with all your friends and classmates give us a really great experience in regard and with the addition of gaining confidence and being more expressive. That's to say that with all these literature things actually help us to become more and more creative and inspired, which is why some people who like to read stories are more likely to be able to write better essays with greater results due to knowing more vocabulary and learning about the writing style of each story they have read. Okay, I should have been given more points, but however, time is against us, so I am forced to wrap it up. So in conclusion, let me remind you all the points that I have given. That is, 1, making English more interesting. 2, making us more expressive in the English language. And 3rd, making giving English more aspects to learn. So to conclude my speech for today, let's just remember that literature, although it will add a workload of more work, will help us in real life. And that is all for me today. And thank you all for listening.